Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, an introduction to PreciseFP. We're so excited to have you all joining us today. We have a lot to cover, so I just want to do a quick housekeeping before we do get started. Everyone is on mute, but if you have any questions, please go ahead and put those right in the GoToWebinar control panel, because we'll actually have some time at the end of this webinar to have a live Q&A session. We're also recording this session and do plan to send it out to everybody about an hour after the webinar ends. All right, so today's presenters, so excited to have with us today Ryan George, Chief Marketing Officer from Docupace. He's going to start off our webinar. Then we're going to pass it on over to our co-founder of PreciseFP, Sebastian Skwarek. And then I'm going to go ahead and take over. My name is Courtney Peak. I'm the head of support here at PreciseFP. I'm going to show you all the ins and outs of PreciseFP, really show you how our platform can really benefit your firm. With that, Ryan, please take it away.
Well, thank you, Courtney. I am super excited to have our friends over at PreciseFP join us today. It has been just about 80 days since Docupace announced this acquisition of PreciseFP, and our two companies coming together. And I can tell you, over those 80 days, I've really enjoyed working with Courtney, Don, Sebastian, and the team, and really learning about how the business they have built such a successful business and such a successful tool for advisors to use and really grow their business. And that's something that's, you know, a part of the purpose of Docupace, is to empower and unlock growth potential that our clients have and their advisors have. And I know one of the things that's most important for an advisor is those initial interactions with the client, getting all they need in order to have those critical conversations with a financial advisor with their client. And I know that PreciseFP is, you know, one of the most unique tools in the industry that can do so. You know, there is a gap in this industry of the digital experiences that are becoming common to consumers today, and what the industry is delivering to the consumers. And I believe, and I know others believe, that PreciseFP is the key to unlocking that digital future within the wealth management space. So with that, I wanted to welcome Mr. Sebastian Skwarek from PreciseFP to take over and sort of give you a quick introduction of this PreciseFP tool.
Hey, thanks, Ryan. Thank you very much, and I'm happy to be here and tell you a little bit more about PreciseFP, show you about PreciseFP. We are award-winning application platform, 2001 Wealthiest Award for client onboarding and account opening, so that speaks volumes. We've been in business for over 14 years, so we learned a thing or two throughout those years on how to build client onboarding, how to build fact-finding and engagement pieces. We started with a simple questionnaire, but quickly grew into this platform that now a lot of RIAs and larger firms are using to engage their clients. We are a critical piece in a client engagement and data gathering process. As you may already know, 40% of the cost of creating the financial plan is within the data gathering. So we really took a lot of effort. We took a lot of feedback throughout the years when we were building PreciseFP to make sure that we got it perfectly. And you know, the award that we have received this year proved that. So we've been recognized, we've been doing it for a long time, and a lot of firms are taking huge advantage of our platform and really removing the need of the data entry, taking advantage of the integrations, the tools they already use that they can pull data in, engage their clients with the fact-finding pieces that are pre-built for them, and they can build as well within our no-code form building environment. They can customize the entire process. They can customize and personalize the pieces, the engagement pieces that they send out. So everything that we have built is something that single advisor can do, but also the enterprise can do. So you have also the ability to control the digital content that you provide to your advisors. So we really give you all the power, that you need to build the journey for your client based on the process that you already have, or based on the best practices that are in the industry, to really streamline that process and eliminate the manual data entry that really takes so much of your time that is unnecessary. So that's one point. Second point is just the ability to really deploy that digital advisor experience, guided experience that you want to engage your client. We give you that ability, but we take that one step further. You've got the ability to have the digital experience for your client. So you can actually, we show you how to speak to your client in digital manner and show your client only what they need to see. Do not overwhelm your client with things that they don't need to see. They only should be filling the information that is required and that you want them to fill. So this is what we provide. This is what we want to show you on a high level. There will be Q&A after the presentation, so by all means, ask anything that you'd like. We would love to hear from you. And now I believe Courtney will show you everything that there is to see, to give you a snippet inside of PreciseFP, this amazing platform that we have built for you, and it's been used by thousands of advisors across US and Canada. So Courtney, I think I said enough. If you want to jump in and show the insights of the platform, that would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate that. So yeah, with PreciseFP, like Sebastian was mentioning, we're a data gathering platform. So we really help advisors and firms with getting out of having to do really any type of manual data entry. And we really pride ourselves on being a fully customizable solution. Like Sebastian was mentioning, really being able to come out here and create this tailor-made data gathering experience is key, because not every client has the same situation. I work with thousands of advisors and I see so many journeys that they really take their clients on when it comes to data gathering. Those advisors who may have a certain niche of clients, whether that's working with nurses or those in an airline, to maybe folks who work with widows and widowers. So PreciseFP fits in nicely with those advisors and really with anybody to really streamline the whole data gathering process and even really create a custom-made data gathering experience, even down to the individual client level. So what I'm going to go ahead and show you today, what I'd like to start with whenever I do presentations into PreciseFP, is our form library. And what's nice with this is this comes the moment that you actually sign up for PreciseFP. So we have a wide variety of different forms that are already pre-made for you. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. But again, just keep in mind, anything that I show you today, you can certainly customize. And that could be something as simple as maybe changing the colors of it to match your logo or your website, to maybe you want to combine 2 or 3 forms into one, or maybe break apart the forms. The sky is absolutely the limit here. So when we say we're a fully customizable solution, we truly do mean that. And I hope that that is definitely a takeaway that you take with you after this webinar. So what we're predominantly known for, what we have a lot of firms use us for, is really around the whole fact-finding process. That's such a powerful piece of PreciseFP. So you can see all the different fact finders that we have available in our library, from financial goals to a quick fact finder, which I'll show you all these in just a moment here, to integration-specific fact finders that have the fields in them that map to that specific integration, so you don't have to worry about doing any of the mapping. It's basically you can really just come out here and install any of these templates and use it immediately with your clients. So let's go ahead and kind of walk through that experience, show you what this process looks like, not only from your side, but also from the client side, so we can see that experience. So like Sebastian was mentioning, really kind of come out here and create a form or use one of our forms that makes it very easy for the client. You want that client experience to be top notch, and you really can do that with things like making sections be responsive, fields be mandatory, things like that. And a great example of showing that to you folks is with this template that we have here. This is one of my personal favorites. We have a lot of advisors who use this fact finder. It's definitely one of our most popular ones. But what's really nice about this, and I'm going to show you here, I'm just doing a preview of it just so you can kind of visualize what this looks like when it goes out to the client. So we're here at the client details page, just kind of basic information. And then as we kind of move along into the form, we start giving them options to really kind of create this path for them to go on. Great example is here on the family members page. Do you have children? No? Well, they can continue on into the form. But if they mark yes, that section is then responsive based on their answer that they selected. So when they mark yes, they can add their child and click on add more, add another child, and keep on going. And we have this form set up this same way throughout. As you can see here, now we're asking about what type of retirement plans do you have? Well, the client may not know what half of these are, but they know that they've got a 401k through their employer, so they can check that box. Again, it's responsive based on what the client selects. And they can go through here and enter their information. You can mark fields as mandatory so that they can't complete the form without filling it out. You can even actually get a little more deeper and not even allow them to navigate to the next page if you wanted to, if they miss a mandatory field. There's validation to the fields too. For example, right here we see what we call a currency field. So if the client tried to add in text there, it's actually going to reject that data. So things like this with doing mandatory fields and validation to the fields, that really does then reduce NIGO, not in good order, and making sure you get in proper and valid data that will eventually go over to applications like your CRM and financial planning software. Now on the client side, as they're going through and filling out this form, it's auto saving for them, so they don't have to worry about continuously hitting a save button. It's also tablet and mobile friendly, so they can work in those different environments, whichever they're comfortable with. And if you don't want to have them create another password, we've got you covered there. You can do things like setting up for email authentication or SMS authentication. Or if you do want to have them create a password to get into the form, that's also an option for you there. So again, really trying to do everything we possibly can to make the overall experience for your clients incredibly easy so that they do go through this form and give you all of this information that you need to do what you need to do. Now, after the client is done with the form, they get all the way to the end. What happens is you'll actually get an email alert letting you know that the client is completed. Now, let me just kind of back up a few steps here. You may be asking, well, how do I get this out to my client? There are a couple of ways that you can do that. So if you take one of the forms and you install it, well, what you can do is if you maybe have your client in your CRM or financial planning software, this would be kind of a best practice tip too. What we would actually recommend is import them in, and then what you can do, and the benefit of that is it actually brings over the data that you have on file for that person into PreciseFP. And then if you go and engage them with something like that fact finder, it pre-populates with data. Again, making less work, less frustration for your client, making that process of data gathering, whether it's with somebody brand new or an existing client, and as frustration-free as possible. So having that pre-filled out, the client's going to appreciate that. But then what you can do is you can also manually add in a new client. So if they are truly brand new, you can come out here and you can manually manually add them in. You can also do a bulk import too. So if you've maybe got clients and prospects on like a spreadsheet that you want to get in here at one time, you can do a bulk import. But once they're in the system, once they're in PreciseFP, it's just a matter of clicking on their name and clicking on the engage button and choosing which form that you want to engage them with. Couple of routes that you can go here. If you want to send it immediately, it sends it right out of PreciseFP. You can customize the emails that accompany that link to the form. It is just a link that they click on and they go into and they authenticate. You can customize the email message that accompanies that form. It's branded with your logo. It can say whatever you want it to say. Or if you prefer, instead of it going out of PreciseFP, which if you do go the sending it out of PreciseFP route for compliance, if you need a record of any correspondence that goes out to the client, we have you covered there too. You can have a BCC of the email go out to you as well. But if you prefer to actually just send the link out of your own email, got a lot of advisors who like to go that route, that's perfectly fine. You can still create the form, and then what you can do is instead of it going out of PreciseFP, because every form is just a link, you can actually just grab the link and send it out of your own email. So it's an alternative route that you can go. When you do send it out to the client, whichever route that you go, you do have this spot here in the platform where you can actually keep track of your forms. So you can see, who started it, how much have they filled out, when's the last time that they accessed it. Maybe I forgot to enable the email reminders and I want those to go out, which is something that you can do on these forms too. You can have periodic email reminders to go out to them automatically, just so you don't have to, hound your client down to go out there and complete the form. It will do that. The system can do that for you automatically. But again, just kind of going back to our client, let's envision they went through, they completed that fact finder. We got an email alert. Now what do we do? How can we as the advisor review that information and get it over into our system, such as our CRM and our financial planning software? Excuse me. So every client and prospect will actually have a profile here in PreciseFP, which is where the data from like that fact finder that we were looking at comes in and stores for them. So now this is your point of view, kind of switching our hats here. We're the client looking at the form. Now we're as the advisor looking at the data that the client gave to us in this profile for our client. So really as the advisor, we can come out here, we can go section by section, line by line, review that information that the client gave to us. Once we're done reviewing, with a click of a button here, we click on export, choose our CRM, choose our financial planning software. It takes about 10-15 seconds, if that, to take all of that data that that client gave to you on that fact finder and get it over into your CRM and your financial planning software. It really is that simple. It makes it so much easier for you. You're not having to spend countless hours manually inputting this information into your CRM and your financial planning software, or even having staff have to do it. It takes the data, puts it right over into those systems for you. Now, as I was mentioning too, just kind of that best practice tip that I mentioned with the importing of the client, another really nice benefit of being able to do that, having that bi-directional flow of data is, I have a lot of advisors and firms who use PreciseFP for onboarding brand new clients. But then I also have a lot of firms and advisors who use PreciseFP with existing clients. So a great example, review time. What I see advisors do there is before they send the clients a form, whether it be something like a fact finder or maybe they've got their own custom review form, what I see them do is they come out here and they do an import in from their CRM, from their financial planning software, or both. What it does is it brings over the most recent snapshot of data into PreciseFP, which will then pre-fill into a form that you send out to them. I'm going to show you here. I'm actually going to create a pre-filled form for my client, just so you can kind of visualize that and see what that looks like to the client. Because again, when you do this, when you do this pre-filling of data, the client's going to appreciate that they do not have to enter in that information all over again. I can't tell you, I go to my kid's dentist every 6 months, right? They hand me that dreaded iPad every single time I go in there. Fill out your insurance information, fill out your address. None of that has changed, mind you, but I still have to go through and I have to manually put in all of that information every single time. But with doing that importing in, the benefit is, as you can see here, my client will get this form. That information is already there. It takes a lot less work off of the client's plate. They're not having to do this all again. But they can go through and they can see what's out here. Yep, I can see I've got my kids' information on file. I can kind of go through here and see what else is on file. But if anything has changed on the client's end, maybe they had a new baby or bought a lake house or what have you, they can add that information right here onto the form, or maybe they change who the beneficiaries are. I don't know, just giving you some scenarios. But they can go out here and again, they can see what's on file. They can make changes or additions to that data. And then what happens is when they submit the form back to you, this profile starts highlighting for you. So it highlights to let you know exactly what the client did. So if they maybe made modifications to data that was already there, or maybe they added new data, we highlight that for you. So the section will highlight to let you know exactly the number of changes that they did. And then the actual individual field itself also highlights. So as the advisor, you can easily see what they did. So now that review process for you is much less time consuming. You can easily see what the client did. After you verify that, look at it, you can now export it back over. Now, when you export it back over, you're going to see this message that it's linked to an already existing record. So what happens, so let's just envision they just changed their mobile number. So they changed their mobile number, you get the alert, you see that it's changed, now you export it over. The beauty of this linking here means that it's going to talk to the already existing record that you have for them over in your CRM and financial planning software. So it avoids any duplicate accounts or duplicate data. So in this case, the mobile number is the only piece of data that changed in PreciseFP. That's going to be the only piece of data that's overwritten or changed when it goes over to my CRM and my financial planning software. And we also log and track any and all changes that happen. So whether a change was done via an integration import or via a client doing an update on a form, or maybe you manually updating out here, which is something you can do. Maybe asking what would be a scenario where you might want to do that. Well, every now and then you may need to, put in like some information that you already have on file for the client, right? Maybe you took some notes, scratched maybe their spouse's or partner's name. You can go out there and just add that out here. You can manually input on this profile. But any changes that happen, it will actually make a record of that. It'll track that. So the platform always knows who did what and when, and what that data changed from. So you always have a record of any and all changes that happen in the platform. So that is around fact finding. Now, again, just kind of going back to that library, you can kind of get a general sense of the multiple ways that you can go out here and go above and beyond just fact finding. So for example, we have a lot of advisors who use this as a survey tool. So this is a great kind of example to show you, the different elements that you can lay down on the form. You can do radio buttons, check boxes, drop downs. You can even do calculations if you wanted to. You can do an upload field. So if you want the client to, attach any type of documents, what have you. So a survey is definitely a very popular way that I also see advisors using the platform. Maybe something like a satisfaction survey, or maybe you want to ask them, what their favorite beverage is. So you have that on file to send over to your CRM. So when they come in office, you know what their favorite soda is, just to kind of give you, again, just some ideas of, the different ways that I personally have seen advisors really come out here and create forms that work for them as well as for their clients and prospects. And there's a lot that's out here. We've got some advisors who use this as a lead gen piece. So they may take one of our templates that we have here, very simple, very condensed, put this on like their websites or their social media sites. And when someone fills this out, they then become a new prospect for you automatically. And now maybe you want to start sending out some additional forms to try to kind of build upon the relationship. And I know Sebastian mentioned it, but we have an automatic workflow piece called Pipeline where you can actually have these different pieces that you may be using in PreciseFP, from lead gen to fact finding to surveys to maybe goals, etc. Basically, all of this can be automated. So just envision, just kind of going back to that example of, where I mentioned people use this as like a lead gen. So what they do is they'll use this pipeline that we have here to have these various different pieces going out automatically. So the steps may be, step number one, the prospect goes to your website and they fill out a form. So then they automatically become a new prospect for you here in PreciseFP, and that starts triggering your prospect pipeline. Now, maybe the next form in your sequence is maybe called like a I don't know, like an onboarding questionnaire. Maybe you're starting to ask them, what their, asset level is, maybe using it sort of like as a qualifier, which I have seen some advisors do. We have a great template in the library that I've seen advisors use and customize this onboarding questionnaire here. I've seen advisors use this as sort of a lead gen too. If you want to use it as is or kind of tweak it to your own needs, just kind of, again, using it sort of as a qualifier, seeing if they're going to be a good fit. So maybe this would be, the next form that would go out after they complete that first form off of your website. And then after that form, maybe you've got another form, and then maybe you also use PreciseFP as a service agreement. So then you can say, all right, when they do the service agreement on the pipeline, it's then automatically going to convert them from being a prospect to a client. And you can even do things like setting stages here in the pipeline where, if they don't take action after a certain number of days, maybe you want the system to automatically start up the re-engagement process. So you could do things like that. And then on the client pipeline, maybe you want to start sending out the fact finder, and that would go out automatically. And when that's completed, you could, I actually worked with somebody on a demo not too long ago. They were like, well, I want to create like a step for my admin or my assistant to know, when exactly to export over to my CRM. I was like, yeah, you can definitely do that. Now, keep in mind, the exporting and importing isn't automatic, but what I did is I actually showed them how to create a step. We called it plan, and it's basically when anybody logs in every day to PreciseFP, you can actually see where your clients and prospects are in their respective pipeline. So for plan, the admin logs in, they can see, oh yeah, I've got one client here that needs to be, in this case, exported. So the admin would be able to log in, come out here and export. And then what I did here, going back to this pipeline is, and they used Wealthbox as their CRM, but you can change this to say whatever integration you've got enabled. But basically, what the system can do is it can actually do something when an account is exported. So we set it up to say, all right, when the account is exported to Wealthbox, Redtail, wherever, it then moves them to the next step in our client pipeline, where now we have like the IPS going out, and after maybe 30 days, we can set up and have the satisfaction survey go out. And then, again, we created a custom stage for this client of ours that they're like, well, I want to make sure that my annual review form is going to go out automatically. I said, oh yeah, absolutely. I've seen a lot of advisors do this. They create a stage in the pipeline. Maybe it's called quarterly review or annual review, where it's basically saying when they're in this stage for a year or 180 days, what have you, the form is going to go out. Whatever form that you want would go out automatically. So this is a great example of ways that PreciseFP does kind of go actually above and beyond data gathering, just data gathering. It really makes it so that these important pieces to your process are not falling through the cracks. So the system is, working with you with how you work with your clients and prospects, because this is fully customizable too. You can have as many steps in each stage as you want, as many stages as you want. You can kind of have them go in different, paths if you want to, but it's really fantastic to really take a load off of you, really set up to have, all these pieces that, as we start working with advisors more and more, and they're really starting to adapt to going virtual, it just makes sense to, have this all just kind of firing off for you automatically. So again, you can focus on what you do, and it's just kind of happening in the back end for you. So this is another really big piece to PreciseFP, which again, like I was stating, fully customizable. And that, going back to the forms too, folks, these are all customizable too. I don't want to dive too much into the editor just because there really is so much that can be done. It really is a powerful tool. It really, with all of the different options that you have, it really allows you to come out here and really create a form that you need to look and feel however you want it to look and feel. Like I said, you can come out here. This is just my little image that I have, but you can come out here. I've seen advisors, this is a great example of, again, kind of going into customizing here, and talking again, just kind of throwing examples, get kind of the juices, the creative juices flowing. I've seen advisors, this welcome page is nice because it acts sort of as like an introduction to the form, really. When you engage the client with the form, you can have this nice kind of welcome page. I've seen advisors create like personalized explainer videos and put these into the form, which I think is so cool. It's such a neat thing to do. They see your face, they see you talking. So we do have a video element. I'll just grab one of our pre-made ones just so you can kind of see what the placeholder looks like. But just envision, like, having your own maybe firm explainer video, or as an advisor, your own like quick little explainer video here. So the client can click on it and play your video. I've seen advisors use like Loom and create even individual client personalized videos. So you could do something like that too. So that's kind of the welcome page there. And just kind of going on to the editor here, we see all of the different pages of this particular form. Right here on the right hand side. And then if you click on that page, it shows you all of the fields that are already here. Now, anything that you see out here, you can really come out here and remove or customize. So again, kind of going back to what Sebastian was talking about, really creating that, tailor-made data gathering experience. If you've got, a client that's coming in that that they do not have children, well, you could actually remove this entire section. Why put something on the form that is not applicable to them in any way? It just doesn't make sense. You've got, maybe you're working with widows and widowers. Remove that marital status. That they haven't remarried or whatever the situation may be. Just little things like that to really add that nice customized, personalized, tailor-made journey. And it really makes you stand out. You're not sending the same generic questionnaire that the advisor down the road is, and it really allows you to really kind of stand out. So, as you can see, I'm just kind of moving around here and doing simple things, but there's a lot of advanced editing options that you can do. You can really, really, really make the form, dynamic, like we saw with that quick fact finder. Make check boxes and have sections be responsive. You can come out here and you can make fields mandatory. You can actually, if you want to lay down a field and you don't want the client to update it, you may be asking, why would I want to do that? A great example, is when advisors maybe send out like a a contract or a service agreement, maybe they've got like their fee that they're going to charge out there. They want to put that, it changes with each client, so they have it as a field that they can input data into, but they don't want the client to update that. So that's something that you can do as well. Maybe you saw a page from another form that you want to bring in. So like I was mentioning earlier, I see, some advisors who do kind of take, maybe something like the fact finder and then bring in like a survey that they created or risk tolerance or something like that to make it all just kind of one robust form that they're sending out to the clients. That's something that you can do as well. You want to build out your own brand new page, you can definitely do that. So you can remove entire pages, you can remove just individual sections of the page if you want to. You can even come out and just remove individual fields if you want to. You can definitely even come out here and lay down new fields. So just kind of quickly showing you here, you can see the wide variety of different fields that you can lay down. Like I was mentioning earlier, checkbox, a drop down, maybe you want to create a calculation. Maybe you want to lay down a video or even an image, what have you. Again, really a lot of options that you have to, again, really come out here and create that custom data gathering experience. And you can do things like changing the colors to match exactly to your website, your logo colors, what have you. And then you can set up the emails for these templates too. I think I mentioned the periodic email reminders earlier, but this is where you can come out here and you can set up the emails that accompany the template if you want them to. So if you want to do periodic email reminders, we've got default messaging, which you can kind of see here just to show you. And then you can change this if you want to. Have it say whatever you want it to say and choose the frequency that you want that to go out. And then you can also do what we call a thank you email, which I've seen a lot of advisors really take advantage of that thank you email. So this goes out after they complete the form. I've seen advisors customize this and put like, next steps that the client can expect from you. Maybe that's a call or a follow-up email or whatever the scenario may be. So just little things like that to, again, really customize and, add those nice personalized touches. You can have what we call macros out here, which will pull in the client's name. So it makes it so that you only have to edit the email message once, but it looks like I forgot to mention this earlier, which you can mass engage multiple clients and prospects, which those macros come in handy. So if you go out here and you send the same form to, I've got 16 selected here and I use that client first name macro, it's going to look like I took the time to personalize that message because they don't know that I'm sending it out to 16 other people. But if you want, what you can do is you can even personalize it at the client level before you fire it off too. So you can come out here and click on customize email message and it will show you what you have on the form by default. But maybe you're, meeting the client up for coffee next week. Well, I think it would be nice to go out here and say, looking forward to our coffee meeting next week or something like that. Just to, again, to continue on with that nice personalization, which you can easily do out here in the system. Well, all right, that was everything that I kind of wanted to go over. Sebastian, anything you want me to kind of go over that I may have missed?
Yeah, I think it would be worthwhile also showing the digital experience for the informational pop-ups, because that's a powerful feature as well, where if you're sending it to a specific client and you don't want them to miss a given information, or you want them to make sure that they enter that information. So obviously mandatory field is one thing, but you don't want to make all the fields mandatory. So we give you the ability with the conditional visibility, which means only when they enter a certain page, that will show up. And then you can provide that message either on a global level, which means all your clients will see it when they see that form, or when you're customizing it on a client level, when you're sending that form individually to your client, specific client, you can really send that message, specify what you wanted to say, and guide the client through that experience, because it then shows that you took the time, it's really for them, and it really makes them feel special. So with having the ability, having the form pre-filled with the tailored messages that you're using, that really gives that whole feel that, yes, this is for me, I feel good. And they will provide you that information. So the more, if it's pre-filled, you're gonna get always more data back from your client, and that's really what you want.
Yeah, absolutely. So what he was mentioning is the pop-up message that you can actually have here. So as you can see right here, it would actually display my picture and their name would fill out here. Just another way to, you know, especially with this one, like we've got a great example here. We've got upload fields on this. So, you know, just a nice little reminder. It looks like I'm talking to them. You know, I say, you know, make sure that you upload a recent statement in each insurance policy that you list below. And that's customizable. So you can have that on, you know, each one of your pages with a different message, whatever you wanted. So again, here on the assets page, I have the same message, but if I wanted to come out here and customize this, here's a different one. Just kind of, again, walking them through, giving them instructions. Yeah, that's another great, a great customization option that you have with the templates.
Yes, and also I want to mention, you know, PreciseFP, we've built PreciseFP, you know, for any firm size. So it's for small RA or small firm to a large enterprise, and we have variety of firms using us. But really, the controls that we've got, even for the enterprise compliance, will love, just because you are able to build the content and forms and deploy those for the individual teams, for the individual advisors. So the content is used only when needed, and only the content only that is approved by the compliance. So you can have that control as well. You can have assistants, you can have managers. So really, we took it to the next level, full control over the information that is being entered, that is being edited, and we give you the powerful features that allows you to really build this out and automate the entire process from start to finish. We allow you to either do it manually or build your own custom robo to bring that data into your firm and then share that information with the tools that you already use. So that's all I wanted to say. And then Courtney showing that.
Yeah, I want to add just one piece, just because I know it has kind of come up quite a bit since we made our initial announcement, and that was regarding sort of the integration with Docupace. So the good news is that everything you've seen today can work with your current system. There's the PreciseFP team has built integrations with dozens of integration partners. So a firm can you know, sign up today, you take advantage of it today. Meanwhile, we are working within the Docupace product development team and the PreciseFP product development team to build the systems, complementary systems together, and that, you know, that's a future option. But I want to make sure that people understand, well, while that integration with Docupace and a deeper integration is coming in the future, there is action to be and benefit to be had today if they choose to adopt the platform.
Yeah, and that's great. Courtney, you want to say something?
Yeah, no, I thank you for that, Ryan. You were mentioning integrations. I wanted to also just kind of quickly show the integrations that we do have. So I wanted to thank you for clarifying the integration with that's forthcoming with DocuSign there, or not DocuSign.
Okay. Also, what I wanted to mention is we also, if you want to give PreciseFP a try, you can. You can send us a chat and we will actually get on one-on-one, give you an individual demo. We have two services to help you get started as well. We can help you build forms. We can build forms for you. We can set up the entire process for you based on best practices. If you would like, I will be happy to talk to you personally, give you a tour and tell you about best practices that you could implement in your practice. Just send us a chat. There you can see a little chat box on our website. So you can send us a chat that you would like to talk to us. You can get started. We will reach out to you, and we can schedule a one-on-one where we will go over all the things that we talked about today and more. And then you will be able to see that vision of what it would look like within your firm. We can help you build a pilot. It really takes it takes a couple hours just to get started and configure everything. If you want to build a bigger pilot with full automation and start it with some of your clients, we can help you with that as well. Really, we give you really advanced tool in your hand that will help you bring that data, eliminate the data entry, integrate that data with your other tools that you already use, and take it to the next level from that perspective.
Yep. So we had a few questions come in. I just want to address these real quick. As we were talking about the pop-up message, we had somebody ask how you add a pop-up message. So when you are actually in the template editor, all you have to do is you have to actually go to the specific page that you want to have a pop-up message on, and then you click on the page details. So it's this pencil icon at the top here, and then you've got the pop-up message box right here, and you just click on Save Changes, and then that message will appear anytime the client goes to that page. Right, another question. I saw links to custodians, Schwab, and Salesforce. So data flows freely from clients to both our CRM and to custodians, including updates, changes to information. So with the custodians, with the integration with like Schwab and Salesforce, so what happens there is you are in control of exporting the data over. And what I mean by that is you would have to click on the export button and choose the integration that you want to have that data flow over to. With the integration with Schwab, as you can see, it is just an integration into the Advisor Center. So the information is pulling from PreciseFP and pre-populating forms in that regard. With Salesforce, it is a little bit different, whereas if they have like a change to their mailing address, for example, and they update the address in PreciseFP, that information, that new address can then go over and replace the old address that you have in your CRM. And the Salesforce integration is bi-directional. The custodial integrations are not. So if you have an update in your CRM and you want to bring that over, and that would be going back to that kind of best practice that I was mentioning in the beginning, if you, before you actually engage a client with a form, we would always recommend doing an import in from your CRM, from your financial planning software, or both. That way you have that most recent snapshot of data on file for the client, so that fills into the form that you send out to them, and then it connects to their already existing record that you have. So then if you export back, it's talking to the already existing record that you have for them, which avoids any duplicate accounts or duplicate data.
Hey, Courtney, Sebastian, I have a question for you. So you two both have spent, you know, a lot of time and a lot of years coaching and onboarding people into the platform. In your experience, how long has it taken? Because I think sometimes people can get overwhelmed with technology and all that it can do. In your experience, how much time does it take, or does an investment of time does it take? Do you think somebody can learn the platform enough to really start benefiting from it?
Yeah, I mean, in my kind of experience, I've seen, because what we do as far as like helping advisors get onboarded, the moment that you sign up for a trial, we actually we have your information, and a member from our support team actually reaches out to you within 24 to 48 hours. And we are sending you a link to our calendar to get on a one-on-one with either myself or a member of my support team to help you get set up and you know, kind of talk about what your current process is, and you know, work through, you know, just some of the basics initially. So that's usually a 30-minute call that first time, and then we also offer another coaching session right before your trial ends. We'll get on another 30-minute session with you just to kind of see how things are going. If you talked about, maybe fact finding is an area that you're looking to do. What we try to do on that first call is hammer down everything that you can do with fact finding. And then in that next call, we usually have more questions, which is perfectly fine. And then, so usually after those 2 calls, people are ready to go. So an hour, but everybody is different. A lot of people, may want to implement everything all at once, so that will take a little bit more time. Really PreciseFP is ready to go the moment that you sign up, but we understand that everybody is different in regards to kind of their processes. So it really all just depends. I've been able to work with firms who are good after those 2 sessions. Some may need a little more time, and that's fine. My team, we're always happy to get on one-on-ones with you. We've got a lot of educational material to help you get onboarded, but when you get signed up, you're not just gonna be off to the wolves. Our support team is fantastic. We're always happy to help with any questions. Like Sebastian said too, we've got the chat support. Myself, my team, we're there Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern time, so we can help with any comments, questions, or concerns that may come up.
That's great, Courtney.
Yeah.
Answers that question.
Yeah, and what I wanted to mention, because it's really important, the customer service. We have an outstanding customer service. We really talk about that because our response time is 1 minute. 1 minute. So the minute you send us a chat, we're going to respond and we're going to solve or answer the question that you may have, so you don't wait. Okay, so we really praise ourselves, and we really did a lot to get there. Our advisors that use our platform loves us. They love us, and basically this is what you get. You premium customer support at no extra cost. So we always going to be there with you, and we're going to answer any questions that you may have. So that's one point that I wanted to make. Second is, you don't need to implement everything at once. We have a template library as a starting point that you really can use, and that's people and advisors, once they sign up, they're ready to go within 1 hour. So we're just testing it with themselves and or sending it to the first client, because it's that easy. You enable the integration, you pull the data in, the client in PreciseFP, you hit engage, and you're ready to go. Simple as that. Really, we made the user interface really, really easy to navigate through. We gave you the support if you need help, and that's basically it. We do have advanced services within PreciseFP as well. If you want to build out really advanced features to your process, we're going to help you do it for you and with you. So we are always there.
All right. Okay, so we had another question come in. When a form is being pushed to a client using email, is it done through secure email? Do you want to take that one, Sebastian?
Yeah, so could you repeat the question again?
When a form is being pushed to a client using email, is it done through secure email?
Yeah, so it's always sent HTTPS. So you have, as Courtney mentioned before, so either you can use a PreciseFP email, and what happens is you really don't send anything that is sensitive in that email, so it doesn't really matter. But we do send HTTPS. You have an ability to send it to your own email as well. But the whole point of PreciseFP that you sending that initial email with the link, and that's only when they click the link, they come into the landing page, which is your client engagement, and that's when they will authenticate themselves either through a PIN that will be sent to their mobile device, either through a password that you will send them via email. That will be a secure email, or the password that they will establish within PreciseFP. So you have 3 methods of authentication. It's up to you which one you're going to select, and it's up to you how you're going to use it. But that's the process.
All right. And someone asked, do clients actually get access to the PreciseFP portal where they can update their information as needed, or is access to the portal just available to a rep and their office staff?
I can take that,
Okay.
Courtney. Yeah, because it's important to point out we're not a portal. So the whole point to make everything secure. So the engagement is only active for 30 days, or how much time you're gonna set it to, and or the minute they finish, the access to the engagement is closed. So we really the system is fully secure, and this is another step not to allow the data to be exposed, and we really close all the doors to the information, and so the client can feel comfortable with providing you with the information.
All right. Well, that looks like that was the rest of the questions. So we'll go ahead and end the webinar here. I want to thank you, Ryan, for joining us today. We really appreciate it. Sebastian, thank you as well. Appreciate it. If anybody has any additional questions, please feel free to reach out to us. Like Sebastian mentioned, we've got the chat support. That's the best way to get a hold of us. You can find a lot of great information on our website, which is PreciseFP.com. You can chat with us there. If you're a current user and you have any questions, you can hit us up in the chat and the dashboard. We're always happy to help. Thank you all so much for taking time out of your Thursday to join us today. I hope everyone has a wonderful afternoon and happy holidays. Take care, everyone.